And I did finally start to see some of the silver lining that Rue brings to the table here. So maybe, just maybe, we'll go with Rue again. And in that case, Formicid works pretty fantastically, in my opinion, for good old Rue there. Especially since sacrificing a hand, you still am allowed to use two-handed weapons, so that's nice. Rue shifter time. I don't think I'm going to update on the spot here. Oh, but does that mean if I stopped here, I could update for next week, and we could jump in with that? Or we just place someone else for now, and we save Rue for shape-shifting. I don't know how we even got through that one Rue run, because I can already tell just from posing that question myself that I am not in a decision-making mood tonight. Not in the slightest. I am struggling to maintain even the slightest components of intelligent thought here. You know, speaking is, as kind of displayed throughout the majority of our stream this evening, beyond my capabilities. Or at least speaking coherently, I guess I should curtail on to the end of that. Oh me, oh my. Let's go for it. One more time. Yeah. Oh gosh. Truant. Truant is a word, right? I think it's like a delinquent? Maybe? Is that what a truant is? Or is it more specific than that? Regardless, that's a word that has ant in it, so let's go nuts, shall we? Rather than being actually funny or clever, generally that's what my pun names devolve to, which is why I usually like to rely on audience participation. But hey, we're just gonna jump into it here. Truants are people who are late or missing from where they're supposed to be. Oh yeah, unforgivable. Delinquents of the highest order, then. Let's ignore for the moment that I probably would fall into that category quite often. You know, not for anything super important, and I'm weirdly good when it comes to work-related functions and schedules. But in my personal life, I am definitely not the greatest at leaving on time, especially depending on who you ask. If you ask me, I have some like level of naive optimism that I can make it to things. Like, no, this time I'll just be faster at getting ready. I'm totally fine. But if you ask my partner, they would definitely say that I land on the truancy side of things. But hey, better late than never, and definitely, we'll see how it goes for this character, I guess, in that department. Can't really be late to dungeon crawling. That's the nice thing. You crawl on your own time. I've always said this. Guess maybe the one downside to that, if you take too long down here, is the world is already gone to crap by the time you escape with the Orb of Zot. You're too late to save anyone or anything, but nah, let's not worry about that for now. Instead, focus on just having a good time as we flirt with death and destruction of everything that we know and love. Never felt better. But as we saw in the previous run, we shouldn't have too much of an issue over the first few floors of the dungeon here, as we make our way onwards and downwards, as it were. Can't imagine we'll get quite as lucky. I'm trying to think of how early did we get the ball rolling on the previous run. It wasn't until like D5 or 6 that we found ourselves with the battle axe. So even though I'm already lamenting the loss of our previous run's equipment, I don't see that being too much of an issue for the time being here. So I should just instead focus on being happy with what we have. An altar to Ash, Ignis, or the Shining One. No, thank you, dog. Not interested here today. Okay, did a quick scan. Fortunately, no orc priest, so the rest of you should be dealable. Easy enough to deal with for the time being, for the current moment. Again, my ability to linguicize, which may or may not be an appropriate conjugation of the word, but you know what? If it's not, then it should be. I'm calling the dictionary people. But it, regardless, is drastically faded at the moment, at least to my own ability. That's the thing, I'd always wonder, like, potentially the fact that I'm struggling with it means that I'm taking extra steps to try and think of fancy words, like linguicize, for example. So it potentially makes me come across as a bit more mentally with it than I normally am, which is generally just spouting off nonsense from the top of the dome. But at the same time, I guess both these things could be true at once, and it's just a nightmare of all sorts of proportions. And no matter what, I sound like a completely errant, insane person when I speak out loud. But hey, I guess by this point, if you're still watching the stream, you're probably used to that. Again, that's all part of the vibe that we conjure here on these Sunday evenings, for better or for worse. And I'll leave that up to the end user to decide, because enjoyment is in the eye of the beholder. Something like that. Badass, not interested in you today, my friend. But peace and love be with you. I don't plan on murdering plants. At least not unless they make it absolutely necessary. Okay, glad we escaped the scorpion there. Didn't want to immediately get poisoned to the same degree we did in our last scorpion encounter, because that would very quickly degrade into a near-death experience, which I don't know about you, but I generally try to avoid those in video games and to a certain extent within real life. I mean, I've definitely done some stupid things in my life that would probably give some argument to the counter of that statement, but I feel like being a teenager pretty much gives you a get out of jail free card, not necessarily in terms of the events themselves, but in terms of too much judgment in that regard. Because when we're young, we're all, I mean, first and foremost, complete sociopaths, but also complete dumbasses. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Many stories from those days. Stories of which I largely don't share in any kind of public setting, because, I mean, for very good reason. Let's hope that we get a cure or heal wounds. Heck yeah, brother. No problem. And let's dig ourselves out of that dead end of a conversation point, and instead we can focus on the fact that we're still alive at D6, so we're already doing better than the majority of our runs from last Sunday, so that's lovely. Definitely fantastic to see. And now what we're hoping for in this run is to once again find ourselves in the presence of some of the white packs, because the whites were our one-stop shop, our go-to source for magical battle axes early on last time, and I'm hoping again to do a little bit of a repeat, if you will, if at all possible. On top of that, I feel like if the dungeon could be so kind as to grace us with a what was that poleaxe that we got last time? If only, if only. This time we're actually kind of built to use that son of a gun a little bit earlier on in our dungeon crawling journey, and so in that case, or in that regard, I would love to see that some gun again. But of course, chances are I'll pretty much never see that magical item again. I feel like there are still some unran darts that I haven't gotten to this day, and the vast majority of them I've only received a single time in a run. which, you know, for better or for worse, is just how the cards land sometimes. +2 Robe of Gravity, probably not going to cut it for me here today. In fact, I should have been paying a little more attention. I don't believe we've come across any, like, plate armor or even chain armor, since that would, at the very least, get us to swap up. I guess, so this is, yeah, scale mail, and then we switch up to chain mail. Started losing my mind for a moment there, thinking that I definitely had things a bit wonky and or backwards, but just ignore me. I think I might just... No, I should heal up. I was strongly debating just brute forcing that encounter and letting the chips land where they may. But let's take at least the slightest amount of consideration in each of our decisions that we make here, and not be completely foolish with those choices. Don't love the red boots. I mean, the blue is an interesting choice, but I'll keep them on for now. Maybe I'll carry them both for the moment here, and we'll see if anything comes up that can strongly dictate what our fashion sense should be for the run moving forward. Okay, I don't have the poison resistance this time, so yeah, I was about to say these freaking bees could be a little bit more of a problem than they were in our first run of the evening. Okay, that time I did kind of let it all hang loose and just hope that we murdered them in time. Fashion soup, exactly, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a integral part of the game here. You know, if you're saving the world, sure, there's something to be said for just, you know, getting out there, making sure it's done in time before your entire family dies on the outside. But what they don't teach you in dungeon school is that truly the most critical, the most crucial aspect is that you gotta look good doing it. Oof. But no Rue Altar, huh? How stubborn do I feel about this time around? Could just make a bit of a change here. Yeah, the Shining one we have seen. Could go with the Shining one. It's been a hot minute since we did the deed, as it were, and went with the good gods. You know, besides actually just worshiping them, I'm not sure what doing the deed was meant to insinuate in that context. I said it like it was some kind of entendre or innuendo, rather. Maybe both. Again, we're making up words on the spot here today. It's a linguistic, either dream or nightmare, depending on your perspective on things, I guess. But decisions. We are the true ant. The one true ant. So maybe we do. Or we live up to the pun nature of our name, and we are a latecomer to the religion side of things, and we do just hold out hope that the Rue Altar will show itself eventually. No. You know what? Let's change gears. Let's get a little wacky and wild with it. And let's worship the Shining One today. It's been a while. Normally Shining One is reserved for my 15 rune runs, because they are definitely one of my top choices for that. But let's give it a shot and see how it goes. And there's some of the chainmail that we were discussing earlier on in the run here. Definitely pick up that bad boy right away. And hear the roar of battle. Well, let's join it then, shall we? Grum. Hey Grum, how goes it? Mon frere? Sides not well, seeing as how you're dead. Which again, in my usual requirement to specify the inflections on each and every statement I make as only true for you. It's going very well for me because you're dead. It's funny how things work like that. But okay, lasts tries the charm here, and we do eventually get our entrance to the Bailey. Holy moly. Now I'm hoping that we can get through this without completely losing our big advantage, which at the moment is that we found an absurd number of heal wounds and curing potions early on in the run, and I'd like to hold on to those bad boys. Like, you deal 19 damage max, so we're not in one-shot range, which means we push it to the limit, because we're in it to win it. In it to win it. Oh yeah. For all my, I think that's Corbin Blue fanatics out there. That's a huge just pull from the past there. Blast from the past, really. 31% chance to paralyze you. Let's try it on for size. Yikes. Unfortunately, doesn't work as long as I would have liked it to, for sure. And you could just kill me in one shot. Okay. Oh, and you're both hitting me. What have I done besides make terrible decisions? Screw it. Yeah, I was about to say, we're just going to try and slow you and see what happens. I should have drank the heal wounds potion. But hey, it looks like Rue recognized our transgressions there, realized that we were not being quite as faithful as we should have been, and punished us for it, even though they're not generally like that. They're usually all about the scales on their end, I guess. I'm kind of surprised Rue isn't more retributive. From a karmic angle, scales seem like a symbol of repercussions, I guess, for lack of a better word being supplied to me at this moment in time. So yeah, that run not quite as good. True Ant not living up to their name, not making it to late game, if you know what I mean. Hardy har. For a word I didn't even fully remember the definition of. I've definitely been leaning hard into said definition over the course of this evening. Do we wish to start another run, or do I end it there? Wouldn't have too long to get into it, but I'm tempted to push just a wee bit further. One more time. Yeah. Immediate chainmail is interesting. Before I even get the rest of my stats sorted out here, you don't see that every day. Let us then do said stats and setup as we always do, finishing off with that seed, of course, which I may or may not have done properly last time. I kind of had that thought partially into the run, but nothing was going on that seed anyway. I can tell you that much for free. And once more into the breach, shall we? Which, now that I say that, do you know what I haven't played in far too long? Into the Breach. I love that game, and I don't think I ever got that far in it. I played through like a couple of runs, and I don't know why I stopped, because it was very much up my alley. I like turn-based, mechanics-heavy, kind of puzzly combat encounters, and especially that game had a lot of different avenues to take, you know, whether that be pure damage or focus on like utility and movement. Shoving people around into and out of danger. Definitely up my alley. One day. I'm like kind of in a little bit of a renaissance period in terms of games at the moment here. I'm playing a lot of old ones. You know, a lot being relative to the lack of gaming in general that I've been available for in the last while here. But specifically the big one there, I've been getting back into RimWorld. Oh my gosh, I love that game. You know, when things are going well, at least. I had one moment the other day where I was playing some RimWorld, and bad decision making, you know, was running rampant, first and foremost. But additionally, it hit me hard. I felt like I couldn't succeed at anything in life because I made some dumb decisions in an unfortunate scenario. You know, I had like back-to-back terrible things happen to my poor sweet colony. think it was insect invasion, and then got raided, and then noticed, I was like, I'm fine, even though everyone's in the hospital right now, and everyone's on the verge of death, I'm fine because I have traps that will kill them. And all my traps had been set off by wild animals who had wandered in through the entrance. So that fight didn't go well, and they ended up kidnapping two of my favorite friends, two of my favorite colonists. For anyone who hasn't played RimWorld, I'm sure a lot of this isn't making a whole lot of sense, but let it just be understood that it was a nightmare situation. But hey, as much as that got me down in the dumps, we did eventually rise up again, triumphant, or as triumphant as one can ever get in that game. In terms of, you can feel happy for short moments at a time, but generally the other foot eventually comes down at one point or another. Especially part of why things go to hell so fast is because I refuse to play that game on anything other than the random storyteller, good old Randy. And so he does not care about my thoughts, feelings, or emotional baggage that I'm bringing into my play sessions, and instead just throws whatever the heck the numbers dictate my way. Oh. Hello, my Lemure friends. Where is your master? Also, wait, I saw a holy halo down there? There wouldn't be an angel at this stage in the run, right? You wouldn't do that to me, DCSS. Betrayal of the utmost order, though I guess not really. There are probably worse things you not only could throw at me, but probably have thrown at me on previous runs, so maybe we won't worry too much about it, but let's find out. Oh, you're behind glass walls. Hey, buddy. Sorry, I know you're not supposed to tap the glass or antagonize the animals, but sometimes exceptions must be made. Pickle? Yes. You absolute fool. I mean, kind of. You are maybe gonna kill me here. But you fell right into my trap. Heal wounds. Get rolled. Maybe. Hold up. Attitude pending future advancements. There we go. Get rolled, fool. Never a doubt in my mind, of course. Hedging language was only thrown in for dramatic effect and for no tangible or realistic concerns as to my ability to succeed. Exactly. Works every time. 80% of the time it works. Every flippin' time, baby. But okay, come on, Rue. Come on, Rue. Son of a gun. Twice in a row, my man? Well, do I dare betray the balances of fate again? I guess I don't have to do the Shining One. I don't know why the Shining One called out my name. I think largely just because I got them a bit more comfortable with and have spent a lot of time running. And it would be nice to get another check in the win column here. Who else that I haven't already won with would do the trick on a Formicid Axe Warrior? Not much, because like Quaslal is the big one that screams out my name here, but we've been there, done that. In fact, kind of in some sense, we've done it twice. Just one time we betrayed them for Quaslal at the end as a final little backstab dealio. Maybe I will do the Shining One again. The kind of flip side option of that is that we could hold out. Maybe we do find a Rue altar right away. Or alternatively, maybe we find ourselves with like a Jivia altar. We can get all slimed up. Feel good about ourselves there. Rub it around a little bit. You know what? Let's go with the Shining One. I'm trying to think. Shining One doesn't get mad if I leave them for non-evil gods, so it doesn't even necessarily mean the end of the Rue Dream. +5 chainmail with resist poison. Cold vulnerability. We have 2 cold resistance rings, so frankly, dear Scarlet, I don't give a lamb. Well, let's see. Let's give it a few moments. Let it percolate. Let it situate. Oh gosh, 2 ogres. Wow, they really are like onions. They come in bunches, which is not at all true for onions, so I don't know why that's where my brain went, but let's roll with that thought experiment for a bit. Or, you know, ignore it completely, push it off to the side and said, ooh, worm. Worm dead. Very nice. It's the lovely part of this whole streaming video games things is if you ever find yourself in a panicked state, just talk about the game. Even if you have nothing to say. Like, so often the first few floors of the dungeon is just me talking about how we should have nothing to worry about and how everything will be fine and beautiful and I'm happy with my prospects for the future. But hey, it's something. And especially when I try to keep up some kind of consistent narrative in terms of quantity, but definitely not quality, if we're being honest with ourselves and each other. But it definitely helps to have some backup option, because otherwise I have no idea what kind of nonsense it would my brain and my mouth would spout. I'm sure we'd get into all sorts of interesting situations. Yikes, where the heck is the entrance to the sewer? Distracting me from my own rant about ranting. No, stop that auto-explorer. Bad auto-explorer. Let's get into the mix of things. It's always funny to me talking about anything on a meta level like that, where I'm always curious if it's... I find that kind of thing fun. I enjoy seeing the peek behind the curtain, seeing some of the... how the paste gets made, as it were. But I always have some level of doubt in my mind that I'm potentially ruining it for others. Not so much in this case, because, I mean, again, if you've been around for a while, you're all too well aware as to my general speech habits, or lack thereof, occasionally. But having started to DM, I love being able to talk about, like, oh, here's why I made this decision at runtime. Like, here's why this is what I improvised here or there, and this is the decision that, you know, branched out from that to make do with those initial choices. I love that stuff, but every time I share it with any of the players at my table, I'm always worried that I'm ruining the magic a little bit. Because if they don't know that I'm making some of these weird decisions or like quick pivots, then it seems like magic and like it was, you know, I'm the puppeteer orchestrating the perfect narrative the entire time. And there's something fun to that as well. So I don't know where exactly I land on that front, and I pretty much just make it up as I go along every time. Yikes. Well, decisions were definitely made, but hey, never get punished for them. Beautiful, never doubt in my mind, of course. And let's just head to a different stairwell, shall we? Let's not garner any more transgression against our good old buddy old pals up there, and instead we can pivot to this lovely part of the dungeon where I'm sure nothing untoward will happen, and we can all live together in beautiful harmony, except for that ogre, because they're dead. Yikes. How embarrassing for them. But the rest of us, you know, I'll exclude you all as I continue to murder you in cold blood. So, second ogre. Apparently, I have a thing against ogres, which I'm just now realizing is very problematic of me. Should probably be a little less speciesist in that regard. Okie dokie, let's back ourselves into a lovely little corner here, finish off our yak friends, and not going too horribly. Now that we've gone situated here, gotten our feet out, or back into under us, I guess. Man, that entire sentiment was a mess and falling apart at the seams. But such is life. Let's use up, again, just way more of our healing potion supply than I would like. Oh, yikes. Didn't even really come out at a positive that time. Oh, I might just be dead. I should be wearing the strength ring. Well, to be fair, probably should have been doing a lot of things differently. The Shining One. I trusted you. You were supposed to be the chosen one. Don't do it, the Shining One. I have the high ground. And more quotes. Oh boy. Again, falling apart at the seams mentally, physically, spiritually, all of the above. Now I'm finding myself at the impasse yet again here as to what we wish to do with our time in our lives. I think this time, though, we might call it. I think I need to get situated for the week here, get everything done, dusted, and sorted out to get ready for my start on Monday. So in that regard, in that vein, I think that is where we'll call it. Unfortunately, on a bittersweet note of losing yet another true ant, but hey, had a really fun run with our initial one here today, the good old account ant, and at least I cracked myself up. Even if they're not exactly humorous puns and very much base level of, again, it has ant in name. Isn't that funny? Isn't that clever? But hey, I enjoy it. So I hope at least someone out there does as well. And regardless of that, yeah, had a really fun Rue run. Definitely got to see just a little bit. We got the peek behind the curtain as to why Rue is so well loved. And I definitely look forward to getting to Apocalypse the ever-living crap out of something a little more hefty. Specifically, I'm thinking of Vaults 5. I want to get a Rue worshipper to Vaults, I think. Just to give it a little bit of a stress test. See just how good that Apocalypse gas pedal is. But who's to say what the future of our runs have in store, so we'll definitely just leave that as such, a dream for the future, a potential option. Maybe even a probable one if we can swing it. But awesome. I'd be remiss not to mention that the tournament is on right now. I kind of keep forgetting about that. It came up last week, I think, and I immediately just blanked out 100%. I don't know if I'll be getting much time to play, if any at all. If people are interested in throwing together a team, I'm more than happy to lead one. Could maybe try to get at least one win in, whether that's on or off camera, depending on, scheduling permitting and all that good fun adult stuff. Woohoo. Gotta love scheduling. But I'd definitely be happy to try and organize something like that. If folks are interested, I guess let me know. Reach out to me, DM me would probably be the best way, because otherwise I won't be around until, I guess, next week is currently what it's looking like. We'll see how life goes, see how things turn out. Regardless of all that nonsense, though, I of course appreciate all of you for joining us. Definitely hope you had as much fun as I did, especially in that first run, but hopefully in the future ones as well. Even with my inane ramblings, I'm generally having a pretty fantastic time here. Especially, you know what, I think I kind of put the pieces together, and it's embarrassing it took me this long. I don't nap very often, mostly because I feel like crap every time I nap, but today was an exception, and I think that's where I'll put all the blame and excuses towards. It was definitely the nap. Couldn't possibly be me. It is the kids who are wrong. I'm not out of touch, and all that good stuff. But again, hope you appreciated it. I will do a quick check to see who's live at the moment. Hopefully Wizard is around. Playing some tournament runs if I had to guess, though I have no idea if that is indeed the case. I also don't know if it's the case that my laptop will be able to function in the slightest here, so I might have to do some ad hoc configuring here, maybe. Give it a moment. Hold for the laptop, folks. Maybe, just maybe, there's some hope that it'll recover. How long do I stall out all of you? waste my time and yours hoping against hope the technology will work even in a base form? Just long enough is the answer. Maybe. It at least did the first command. That's always a good sign. But no, perfect. It does look like Wizards are currently playing some DCSS, so I'm more than happy to head that way, especially while in the tournament here. I mean, in general. You know, I'm always torn because I like so many of the streamers that are on right now. I want to raid them all. I want to give them some love and support, but it's nice to keep in DCSS since that's largely why most, if not all of you came here. And it's also the tournament here, so let's celebrate that a little bit. We'll start this raid a churnin' here. And definitely stick around. I'm guessing the majority of you, again, if not all of you, have already checked out Wizard. But if you haven't, then what the heck are you doing with your life? Definitely stick around and head that way. Fantastic DCSS player. You want to see someone competently play. Then A, what the hell are you doing here? B, this is definitely the way to go. Similar vibes in general, as what I've heard, at least what I've been told. I would not deign to assume anything about what my vibes come across as, because I couldn't see it as anything except pure insanity from an inside perspective. But hey, that's just me, I guess. Regardless, I guess, yeah, raid is all set. Again, I'm just grasping at the final straws of mental faculties here. But regardless of my inability to function on a base human level, I do of course hope that you're having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. And I definitely hope to see you again in the future, maybe next week when we jump back, maybe with Lucy, maybe with Rue again, or we just completely change gears because I have some random muse take me throughout the week. No promises, but we'll see what happens. I definitely hope to see you then. And regardless, I hope you're having... Oh, wait, no, I already said all that. I definitely hope to see you soon. Just remember, folks, we never, even for a moment, didn't have it. I'll see you.